Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Just Seen podcast. Today, right, I want to switch gears a little bit and go into the entrepreneurship vein, right? And specifically, I want to go into the vein on resources. Um, I really want to talk about this because, like, I watch how a lot of new entrepreneurs, especially, black entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs of color and shit. I watch how we get caught up in this fucking time loop where we want everything free. We want to achieve the abundant amount of shit, but we want all of our resources to be free. And we want to, be as some people would say frugal. I say cheap. I say cheap. I say cheap. You feel me? We want to be as cheap as possible by being, as fruitful as possible. And that's the ideal goal. That's the ideal goal. But the reality is that, and the stark reality is that a lot of people want free, but they want to have an abundance of like wealth or whatever the case may be. So the resources in which we choose to utilize are the resources that ain't gonna get us far. They ain't not gonna get us nowhere. You feel what I'm saying? This is a lot of this is gonna be personal, firsthand experience, in addition to, transitions and other things like that, and showing you that I can, break down the different levels of the types of resources that I have versus and the types of and the levels that they push me to. I'm gonna say it like that, right? But resources are critical, and I look at how you know a lot of people they ask me for certain things, and I'm like, yo, this is the price it's gonna cost for me to give you this resource. You feel me? And they be like, I think I can find it somewhere else for cheaper, or I can get this shit on YouTube or whatever. Hey, I ain't mad, homie. I ain't mad, homie. You probably can't get it on YouTube. You can't get me on YouTube in this capacity, but you could probably find it on YouTube. And I watch how people stay in that space of going to YouTube or constantly using free resources and never growing in the right way. And ultimately it leads to a point of, one, burnout, two, giving up and things of that nature, to where it completely stifles the entrepreneur and shit. And they be like, yo, bro, sis, all y'all, it's like at some point you need to start putting value into your resources. You feel what I'm saying? Your resources, the resources that if you constantly using free resources, is constantly taking on valueless resources. Now, the people that give out the free things that you accumulate and shit over time, yeah, they're giving out their free content or whatever the case may be. And that's a resource that could be beneficial. But when we have to continually go through to multiple places to find certain resources, now we got to piece it all together. There's so much time wasted. So much time wasted and not much money being made. The goal of all of this shit is to make the money. Ultimately, make the money and fulfill the need. Right? But the ultimate goal of all of this shit is to make the fucking money. But we're losing out on how much money we can make by the types of resources that we choose to invest in and the way in which we invest in these resources. Anything that's free is perfectly fine, but it's not going to help you grow. Not the way you think you're going to grow. You feel what I'm saying? Anything that, the more value is in the resource, the more it's going to help you. Now, this is not to say that just because it's expensive, you pay for the shit and think you like, nah, because I done been on the other side of some shit where I done put some money into some shit that I was like, nigga, I paid for this. This was some shit that I could have got on YouTube. And that's what a lot of times happens to people. Like, I could have just got this on YouTube, whatever the case may be. But there's other factors to that. You know what I'm saying? There's other factors to it. Now, don't get me wrong. I have paid extensive amounts for resources, and the resource was actually very lucrative. It's like, I missed that point. I needed that point, and I had to pay. I'm gonna put emphasis on this. I had to pay to receive that clarity. You feel what I'm saying? I had to pay to receive that clarity. That's like, I'm gonna stick to entrepreneurship the whole time, but I'm an entrepreneur too. So with So Frail, it was like that information was like, people don't understand how much research and study I did. So motherfuckers be on some shit where, oh, I can I can figure like, nah, like this was a lot of information that I studied, that I learned, that I experienced, and I was able to see within the world, personal experience. There's a lot of shit that went into it. So as a resource, as a means to create something, the resources that I had to go into, I was spending crazy amounts, like high amounts for it. this kind of content, this kind of information to be able to study it and understand, oh shit, this is what masculinity is. You feel what I'm saying? In addition to that, there was other layers to it. But the purpose that I'm making is the moment the quality of your products, the quality of what you're putting out is going to be contingent upon the resources you're able to obtain and the quality of the resources you're able to attain. But before we dive heavy into that, be sure to follow me on Instagram at _just_scene_. Be sure to hit up my website at IamJustScene.com to get all things Just Scene. To all those who would like to tip, donate, and sponsor the podcast, you can do so by clicking the link in the description of your podcast. Not the episode, but the podcast itself. Cash App and PayPal are just fine. And as always, that's that for this and that's this for that. So we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to dive into EntrepreNEGUS. I have no idea what number this is, but we're going to dive back into EntrepreNEGUS, whatever number we're on, resources. And don't forget to visit IamJustScene.com. There, you can get all things Just Scene. You want to add the So For Real series to your library? Visit IamJustScene.com. You want to learn how to master the markets for serious trading and investing? Visit IamJustScene.com. You want to get your hands on some exclusive merch like tees, hoodies, coffee mugs, hats, bags? Visit IamJustScene.com. Are you thinking about transitioning into the plant-based lifestyle? Visit IamJustScene.com. You ever want to just chat with Scene about anything from simple advice to mentorship? Visit IamJustScene.com. Anything and everything that is me, you can find at IamJustScene.com. So take a quick peek into my world to see why being just seen is nothing less but always more. Because you never really know what you need until you see it, and you will never see it unless you visit IamJustScene.com. All right. Welcome back. And without further ado, we're gonna get straight into this motherfucker, right? So, your resources are gonna be your resources are either gonna be your best friend or your worst enemy, right? They're gonna be your best friend or your worst enemy. If all your resources have no value to you, they're not gonna bring any value to you. You feel me? You're just kind of throwing darts at the board and saying, okay, bam, I want to do this, I want to do this, blah, 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 blah. Right? That's going to ultimately hinder you in the grand scheme of things, because what happens is those resources, I ain't gonna say they deplete, but when you can't figure out what the fuck to do with the resource, you wasted it. You feel me? You should intentionally put your money into resources that you know that you need. Right? That's the first step. If you don't know what resources you need, why are you investing in resources, or why are you accumulating resources? And that's one of the biggest hindrances that fucks a lot of people up, myself included. When I first got into this shit, I ain't gonna hold you. When I first got into shit, I was just like, I don't know what I don't know, so I'm gonna try to know everything. So I accumulated a lot of resources. For me, it happened to be a gift and a curse. It had to be a gift in the grand scheme of it all, but it was still a gift and a curse nonetheless. But because I was able to obtain so much shit, but it was bad because I wasted a lot of time. I was watching this interview and it just touched my soul when Rick Ross was like, he said, I don't care how long it takes, just don't waste no time. We can't waste no time. And when he said that shit, it was like, there's moments that I wasted a lot of time because I didn't leverage my resources the correct way. And I didn't necessarily go through the process to obtain the resources correctly, or to even know what the fuck I was needing the resource for, or how to properly utilize it. But these were all things that had to come with the time of understanding the importance of a resource, right? And one of the things that really touched me, I said touch me, as if it's like inspired me on some other shit. One of the things that really helped me out was this book called The Millionaire Fast Lane. If you're an entrepreneur, no matter what level you're on, especially if you just getting started, I recommend you read that book. The Millionaire Fast Lane. When I first read that book, it catalyzed me to a whole nother level. It showed me, okay, book. Okay, look, you have in this entrepreneur game, time is money, money is time, right? But here's a crazy plot twist to the shit. Time is money, so if time is money, then money is time, right? But at the same time, it's not as simple as the time you put in is going to equal the money you get out, or the money you put in is going to save you the time that you get out, because there has to be a quality piece in there and a piece of intention. There has to be a piece of something that you know solidly that you want to keep going, right? So in the entrepreneurship aspect, a lot of people, there's two concepts that a lot of people miss. For one, fulfilling the need. Everybody just wants to get money, but don't have a need to fulfill. And then two, finding the resources according to helping you fulfill that need. You feel what I'm saying? Your resources you have to pay for. There's certain things that you're gonna have to get. There's certain things that you're gonna have um to obtain in order to get the time. So the purpose of the entrepreneurship, most the entrepreneurs that we are, that we're trying to be, it's not really about the money, it's about the time. Anybody focused on the money, yeah, you'll make money here and there, and that'll entertain you for the time being, but then it puts you in a mode of grinding. Those who are striving for the time, you learn how to maximize your resources because the money's going to come regardless. If you are focused on gaining the time, my biggest focus through all of this shit since I started was I need my time. I need my time. I need my time. So it took me a point of being honest with myself. How much is my time really worth? You feel me? I had to sit with that. I had to really sit with that, and I had to look at that from the full, from a bigger perspective of myself, because it took me to look into my self worth. As an entrepreneur, that was like one of the first moments when I had to look at myself as on the inside to see, yo, what am I really worth? You feel what I'm saying? Because whatever I'm worth, that's how much my time is worth. Which in turn means this is how much money I have to have on a consistent basis, on a consistent reality on a consistent basis to create the consistent reality that I want to achieve the time that I have. You feel what I'm saying? Transitioning out of the work environment, corporate America, whatever the case may be, going from hourly to salary and all of these other things, low key, that puts us that sets the benchmark for what we're worth. You feel what I'm saying? Really sit and take a moment just to think about that shit. Like, and this is something that, like I said, you could read the book Millionaire Fast Lane. I think it's by Mark MJ DeMarco or some shit like that. His last name DeMarco. But in that, it's like I'm watching how with my attempt to accumulate my time back, the money had to be there. However, I had to know my worth. So when you're coming from, say, an hourly job or whatever the case may be, literally, this is where you have set yourself up. I ain't gonna say set yourself up in a bad way, but this is a pivotal point where you can actually look and see what you're worth to yourself. Now, I'm not trying to monetize you and put you on no shit like that and say, oh, nah, motherfucker, you only worth $7.25 an hour or you're $15 an hour. No, I'm not saying that shit. The point that I'm making is that when we apply, because being on the other side of, being an account manager and then hiring people and then giving them, hiring them and then giving them salaries, not salaries, but like their wages and shit like that. It was like, I really fucking learned. I really fucking learned, one, that people are going to value themselves based off of an hourly concept, right? But it's based off of their skill set and what they can bring. I'm paying you by the hour for what you bring to this particular thing every hour. Every hour, this is what I demand of you, and this is what I'm willing to pay you for. Pay you for it, right? So that's the first mentality of when we start to realize what our skills are worth. And here's something that I used to learn, like when I used to watch people like, yo, I get X amount of, like, I had an employee, you feel me? I think he was making like $10, $11 an hour, right? But he was comfortable at that. And I was like, yo, why don't you just go to salary, bro? You're already a supervisor. Just go to a salary and be an account manager. You don't have to worry about the hourly shit. You don't have to worry about the tips and shit. He was like, nah, I'm comfortable. And when I looked back, it was like, I had to look back. I was like, damn, bro, he comfortable with $11 an hour. I was like, okay, cool. That, gets his bills. It was like, that's what you feel your skill set is valued at every hour. $11. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it because certain people I had a bigger vision because I understood all of the things that I brought to the table. You feel what I'm saying? So in addition to learning that, while I was in, the corporate, as I was going, like, yo, you got to give me a raise, bro. I'm way more expensive than this. And I've gained the skills to show you that I'm way more expensive than this. So in the accumulation of the resources that I've learned, The resources that I was able to achieve and obtain were able to put me in that position to where I can talk my shit about what I'm worth. Your resources, your resources are in a sense going to predicate and give you the leverage to talk your pricing points. For one, so and so well, I ain't gonna say for one for all because it's input and it's output, right? Whatever you put into your resources, that's what's going to dictate how well they maneuver in your life. You feel me? Now, this is not to say just go out and attain skills, skills that mean nothing. Can you utilize the skills? I've heard the phrase, it's better to be a master, a jack of all trades than no. It's like it's better to be a master. No. It's I used to hear it like this: don't be a jack of all trades and a master of none. But the actual phrase was, it's better to be a jack of all trades and a master of none than it is to be a master of one. And so don't be in the space where you just obtain a resource so you can talk shit like, yo, I do this, I got this, I got this. Okay, what can you produce from it? You feel me? What resources do you obtain that could create and do something different? You feel what I'm saying? And how tangibly can you make those a reality, right? So, in order to get fruitful and lucrative resources, you have to put the money in, or you're going to put the time in to receive it because time is money. You feel me? So, to gain the money, you have to lose the time. You feel me? To gain the time, you have to lose the money. Now, in losing the money, you have to look at it from two different perspectives. Do you spend the money or do you invest the money? Two totally different dynamics. When you become intentional with what you put your money into, you now become intentional with your resources. So, which in turn is going to make you more intentional with your time. So, when I look at people, you know, who, because, I ain't gonna say people. When I looked at myself when I first started this shit, I was trying to get everything for free. Everything for free. I was on some, I ain't paying for that shit, but I want to flip and make this amount of money without putting in the resource. And then it's like shit started to show me, yo, you're gonna have to put in a whole lot of time to get that, or you're gonna have to start putting in money to cut the time. So reading the Millionaire Fast Lane, it was like one of those things where it put me into a perspective of, hey bro, you need to get your shit together. Like, stop trying to be cheap because being cheap gives you cheap results. You feel what I'm saying? And it's a mentality that we have, and it's one of those mentalities that we have coming from, I guess, like the workers' mentality, employees' mentality, and shit like that. Like it revolutionized, it revolutionizes us when we learn how to get the right resources. But until we do, like everything is so strict and stringent that we like, okay, let me start off free. You'll never get far as you need to go until you put in the necessary that you got to put in. You feel what I'm saying? Whether it be the necessary time or the necessary money, but you need to put in the resources. Your purpose of your resources is to accumulate the money and reduce the time put in. So your resources is I'm gonna say it like this, I'm gonna rephrase it. The resources is to simultaneously accumulate the money and accumulate the time together. That's what you're attaining resources for. If the resources you obtain cause a negative effect in it, as where it increases money but decreases time, or it increases time but decreases money, those are the wrong resources. There should be a up and up on both sides. Your resources are supposed to increase your time to give you your time back and increase your money to keep your pockets right, right? But it's going to take money. You're going to have to put something in to get those resources. So like I was saying, like you continually do the free shit, it makes you lose in the long run, right? Now mind you, I read this book I think I read it in 2016. Millionaire Fastlane. I read that in 2016. Rereading it now and rereading it, it was like, damn, it made me think about just the growth that I've had as a person. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm like, oh shit, damn, I really did evolve and change. And I see the value of what it imparted, but now I'm going back over it and getting, that touch up. It's a lot of books that I read years ago that I'm reading back now again because I got a different mindset now. And now it's totally different. It's allowing me to be more, executional. You feel me? I'm executional with this shit. But in that, I was seeing like I revisited one of the metaphors, and this is one of the metaphors that they put in there that kind of it triggered me when I read it in 2016, and that's what got the ball rolling so heavy for me. It was like people, and this is when I stopped just wasting my time on free shit because he was like, Yo, people really don't, they don't understand how much free shit poisons them. Right. And I'm paraphrasing a lot of what he said. But he was like, people don't realize how much free shit poisons them because we use free shit and it takes away so much time. You feel me? Or reduce shit. As opposed to just paying the cost of what it is, we try to haggle, we try to find this way. That is in a sense a losing mentality, but it is a mentality that fucks you up in the long run because how much more did you lose? So the metaphor that he was using was like people, humans, motherfuckers will really ride around town to find gas for a cheaper price. Shit don't make sense on paper. You feel what I'm saying? To a logical motherfucker, they're like, okay, gas here is 327. I'm just making up a number. I don't know what the gas is right now. Everywhere. I think it's like 330 or 340 something. But at the time of this recording, it's probably gonna fluctuate anyway. So let's say gas is 327. But a motherfucker would ride 15 minutes to an hour to get gas for 325 to save 2 pennies. So the illusion, and a lot of this shit is delusional based because it's the illusion. I got cheaper gas. Did you really? Did you really? It's almost like when those like when the fuel efficient cars came out. The hustle was dope. I ain't even gonna hold you because it played on the ignorance of people. You feel me? The ignorance of humanity. The It played on so much negative shit that it worked perfectly to keep money going because people are like, I'm going to buy a fuel efficient car, but now I can drive more because I'm saving on gas. But now you're still driving more. What difference does it make if you're saving on gas now if you're driving the car more? You see what I'm saying? This now ties into also like people get more money, they extend beyond their bills because it's like I have more money to do more with. You're missing the point. So that ties into, like I said, it gave me the reality like, damn, I used to do shit like that. I used to do shit like that. I'm not getting gas at this gas station because it's 328. I'm gonna go across town, or you know what I'm saying? Right. And it's like, yo, rather than, you know what I'm saying? So the time is gonna take, and the gas that you now have to replenish for the drive to the cheaper gas station is pretty much gonna offset shit. When you really put shit in perspective, it's really gonna offset shit. So looking at that from that perspective, it, like I said, it changed my perspective because I used to always get free shit. Like, fuck that. I'm not buying that book. I'm not reading this. I was like that. I was like that because I was very particular on what I put my money into and what I put my time into. But then I was like, my mindset broke because I was like, yo, I want time. That's it. I want time. So how much money do I have to use to get my time back? Right. So it's like, bam, let me cut these resources. So this is when I tell people like, the people that I study, they have been in the game, whatever game that it is that I'm studying at that time, they've been in it for like 30, 40 years. I'm not putting 30, 40 years into no shit like that. So I've learned, let me put the money into 40 years of shit. Let me put the money into 30 years of experience. Let me put the money into 10 years of experience. That saves me 10, 20, 30, and 40 years of experience because I want to save $1. Fuck that. That shit crazy as fuck. Money, and this is another part that kind of got into it. It was like the lack mentality. A lot of us still want, you cannot be abundant with the lack mindset or you will lack abundantly. It's weird, but it's real. People want to be abundant, but they have a lack mentality. They don't want to put in anything to be abundant. You feel what I'm saying? Like when people look at abundance, they just think it's the accumulation. That's hoarding. Abundance is equally accumulating a lot and giving out a lot. Wealth is when abundance has a point where it offsets and what's coming in is more than what's given out because the resources have leveraged a position to where the time increases and the money increases. If that makes sense. You follow me? So when we coming from a lack mentality, and most of us have a lack mentality, a lot of people may not want to admit it, but that's one of the hardest parts of becoming an entrepreneur. First, breaking that mentality. A lot of us have a lack mentality and don't understand what that really means. You feel what I'm saying? whether that be from being programmed to accept that um, money is evil, whether that be being programmed to feel like you got to work twice as hard to have half as much, whatever it is. We look at these situations and these circumstances and they program us for a state of lack. It's almost like a what if type thing. So even when we want abundance, we want abundance through a lack mentality, so we will lack abundantly. It's almost like the moment we accumulate so much, we lose it because now we have to go into the, you know, let me buy this, let me do this, let me like no, you need to put yourself in a position where you aren't buying anything, you're investing in resources. You feel me? You're investing in resources. As an entrepreneur, one thing that when I first started, a lot of people were saying, yo, you got to invest in yourself. You got to invest in yourself. And in the beginning, I wasn't investing in myself. I was spending on myself. I was just spending on myself thinking I'm investing. Investing has intention behind it. I'm going to say that again. Investing has intention behind it. Spending doesn't. So you can think I'm buying, I'm spending on for this for my, it's like, but what is it going to do for your business? You feel me? Back when I first started, like this is, I'm gonna low key explain to y'all how I started Justine's merch and how I, transitioned into Polycafe clothing and everything like that. Because one thing that I had to figure out was that I need to keep as much money as I possibly can while gaining it and at the same time, getting my time. But how can I best do that? So I knew, for certain appeals and aesthetics and shit, you gotta dress a certain way, you gotta look a certain way, you gotta find a way to, you know, get to what you want to get to. So for me, initially it was like when I would look at videos that I would post or videos that I would make back in when on my YouTube days and shit, it would be like, I'm just wearing a regular t-shirt. I'm gonna go buy this Hanes t-shirt, wear it, or whatever the case may be, and keep it real minimalistic, like, you know what I mean? But then it got to a point where I was like, two birds, one stone. Why can't I sell my own shit while I show my shit? Like, you feel what I'm saying? Like, duh, bing, light bulb went off. It's like, yo, all right, now let me find a way to make a resource that I can. So I just tapped into my own creativity, created my own designs. When I felt like making a design, if I say some shit that becomes a dope concept or whatever the case may be, I might make it a shirt, find a way to make it a design and sell it, but wear it all the time that it's me. So it's like, and fucking last time I checked, YG was like, fuck wearing their clothes, I wear my own shit. That shit hit home because now it's like I can leverage this resource now to save money and make money. Let me explain how. Anytime I buy some clothes for myself, some merch for myself, or whatever the case may be, when I buy my hoodies, when I buy my crew necks, my t-shirts, anything, coffee mugs, y'all know the commercial, coffee mugs, hats, toast bags, whatever. You feel me? But when I'm buying these things, I'm able to write them off because they're expenses that go towards my business. And they go towards my business because my business is about me. This is about a part that I leverage within myself. So I now said, okay, let me leverage this as a resource too. You feel what I'm saying? So when I'm making videos, because I know with the way this episode is going, it's like, yo, we don't see videos no more. Cause a motherfucker I had to recalibrate and shit. I ain't even gonna hold you, I had to recalibrate. Like, once I shift over to mastering the market, I let that shit consume me. I'm not even gonna lie to you. And people stopped seeing me everywhere. And then it was like, I fucked up with that. I fucked up with that because I put too much time into it when I didn't need to. Then on the other side of that, I put too much money into it when I need to because I was like, yo, let me just run ads. You feel me? That was a waste. I ain't even gonna hold you. Like, especially fucking punk ass iPhones. When iPhones fucking did the little update and it changed the whole, you can't track people no motherfucking more. It's like, damn, that changed the scope of everything. Marketing, social media marketing completely changed as far as advertising goes. The marketing didn't change because you got to remember, EntrepreNEGUS are marketing and advertising are different things. But it changed the scope. And then it sent me back. You know what I'm saying? It sent me back to stop being so separate and just consolidate everything. You know what I'm saying? That's what ultimately led me to come back into the site because burnout is real. You feel me? But let me add this into the episode to make it make sense. The burnout would not have happened if I would have utilized correct resources. You feel me? I can admit that. I can admit that. Had I used my correct resources, if I would have used the resources that I was supposed to use rather than trying to use the free shit or, what I'm saying, just the automatic shit. Sometimes the resources don't have the quality you need. This is something I learned running the Facebook ads and shit like that. When I was consistently making, the post and doing shit like that, it was easier. You feel me? Then I said, you know what? Fuck it. I already got a group of people that I fuck with. Let me find, like, I did all of that shit. I even got episodes where I'm talking about it because the shit worked, but you got to pivot. You got to adapt. I still got the resource. I still got the skills. And I know how to analyze the metrics and shit like that. But that resource no longer puts me in a space where I get both time and money. And this was something I had to like watching it. It was like, it works. But then it gets to a point where it's just like, yo, you start to look at certain shit. You're like, yo, that's not even my audience. What the fuck is y'all doing? I told y'all what my audience is. And then they start to erase certain shit. Facebook is literally like their ad system is starting to pull back different things. Like you can't target this type of people anymore. You can't like I watched it transition and change. Like now you can't even, I don't think you can target the African American culture anymore. It's like, what? Nigga, that's my culture. So you got to figure out ways around that to actually find your culture again and shit, right? So it was like, all right, whatever. You feel me? I'm not gonna trip on it. I ain't going, you know what I mean? Like, fuck, it's just, you gotta pivot, you gotta adapt. So in that learning, and I had to go back to utilizing my resources. And I realized, yo, and this is right here is about to segue a little bit different, but I realized the number one resource that you can have that you have to simultaneously pay for and it's always free to you is you. You the resource. You the resource that has to go into the other spaces, right? And here's how I'm gonna break this down to show you how you are the resource by using myself as my resource, right? When I look at everything that I've done, it's because I've done it. I know it's like, duh, bro. It's no philosophical shit. I'm not trying to be in a, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna be that person, but I'm like, everything that I built, I had to realize those aren't like those things are just extensions of me. I'm the resource that makes those things possible. So I need to invest in me to make the resources make themselves viable a lot more, right? So one thing that I really leverage the most now is of course the podcast, whatever the case may be. Like the podcast, I've been running that. Like that's another thing that I'm about to change. Like for the podcast, for the most part, I've been running ads on that to get my audience up and shit. Cause I was lazy. I ain't gonna hold you. I was lazy. I didn't really want to do shit for the last couple months. Like I ain't gonna lie. I'm keeping it 100 with y'all on this one, yo. For real, for real. These last couple months, I ain't been wanting to do shit. I just don't. Like it's like, and I haven't been wanting to do shit on the strength that I kept dividing my attention and dividing my time. Like, 1 minute I'm in the mindset for so frail, but I don't feel like doing shit. 1 minute I'm in the mindset for master the market, but I feel like, what I'm saying, expressing some merch or some shit. Like, it was like, yo, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? I got all of these resources and shit, and now I'm not utilizing them correctly, right? Because I'm motherfucking tired and shit. I'm motherfucking tired. But I'm just trying to give y'all the transparent moment so I could bring it back in. But when I started looking at, okay, what's the resource? And this ties into, here's another book that I want y'all to check out. Because I read these two concurrently, Master the Market. I mean, Master the Market. Yeah, get those two, the Master the Market ebook bundles if you want to learn how to master the market for serious trading and investing. But now, in the Millionaire Fast Lane, and then simultaneously Millionaire Fast Lane, I was reading this book called The One Thing to Make Everything Else Easier. One thing that we as people, especially as entrepreneurs in the beginning phase, we don't look at as our number one resource is ourselves. You feel what I'm saying? We are the reason why, like when we look at jobs and shit, we're the reason a job functions, right? So a job, like I said, a job basically pays you to be a resource. When you really look at it, flip it upside down. A job pays you to be a resource, right? When you realize, when you start getting raises, when you start getting promoted, what are you doing? You are attributing to the level of resource that you are. You are making yourself a better resource. And it's like, yo, you got to pay me for it. Shit sound good when it's like you give a person a quote unquote worth, but it's like, is that really your worth? That was something that I had to start looking at. I started looking at this back when back when I first started as an entrepreneur, 2015, 2016, I was like, there's no way in hell I should be making this much money. in in my mind, in the beginning, I'm like, this little amount of money. For some people, it was like, yo, that's decent. I'm like, no, that don't no. If I'm able to make them this amount of money, ain't no way in hell I shouldn't be able to at least make 2 times that for myself, 3 times that for myself, be able to put that same attention into myself. You feel what I'm saying? Like, but it had to come to me shaping my value. And shout out to my homie Tank because she was literally the first person that put me into a space where I had to accept my value. You feel me? And this was like So Frail One was out and she was getting ready to do an event. And shit, I tell the story all the time, you feel me? But I'm adding it here because it's relevant to this conversation. And ultimately, it showed me the power of a resource. And it showed me the power of when it showed me the other side. I'm gonna show you the other side of a resource with that, right? So she's asking me, like, what's the price? Like, how much is it? I was like, nah, you good. I do it on the house. Cause for me, it was like, yo, I'm not trying to, you know what I mean? She was like, fuck no, I'm not doing you like that. Fuck no. State your price and let me know. She was like, you got, she was like, you got 2 days to tell me what your price is. I was like, all right, shit. So I hit her back. At the time, I was just like, yo, give me 500. Like I said this shit like on some nervous shit. I do it for 500. She was like, now was that so hard? And in my mind, I was like, yeah, it was. Because I had always put, and this ties back into resource, I had always put myself in a space where I didn't value myself as the resource. I knew I was an asset. I knew I was an asset, but I didn't realize what it meant to be a resource. You feel me? And she basically was like, and how it flipped on the other side because she said, this is a resource. I'm going to invest in that resource. And for her, it was like, I ain't worried about the bread. Like, I ain't worried about what I'm gonna pay you. Cause it was like when I seen it, like when she was breaking down a bigger picture, it was like, I'm gonna make that back when I put you on a panel, when I put you on a flyer. Like, you feel me? Motherfuckers wanna see you. So it's like, damn, it changed my perspective of what a resource really is. And then it leveled me up to understand, okay, I always talk that shit. I'm an asset wherever I go. I'm an asset. Assets are cool, but assets are one dimensional. You feel me? Assets are bought. Assets don't get invested in. You feel what I'm saying? Assets. Now, resources, on the other hand, they multiply shit. They change shit. So I had to go into my space of being, oh, I'm an asset. You feel me? Because there's one thing, you read the shit about, I'm not a liability, people. I'm an asset. But then it's like, what do you do after you master that asset shit? You got to become a resource. You got to become a resource. Some people call it the plug. Me, when I was looking at it, I was like, yo, I don't want no fucking middleman in any of the shit that I do. Or I pick the middleman based off of the fact that I can do your job too if I wanted to. I just don't want to. You feel me? So there's little things that you have to consider when you look at resources. When I look at books, when I look at the book selling aspect of it, I went published independently, whatever the case may be. But I still went through a publisher. You feel me? I have a self-published book, but I still went through a publisher to leverage the resources. I knew I didn't want stock. I knew I didn't want to have inventory. I knew I didn't want to ship these motherfuckers out by my motherfucking self. I knew that if something got messed up in shipping, I did not want to be the person that you have to contact to go find and locate the book. Because look, shit gets stressful. It gets stressful. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like I set those things up. Contact the people that ship the shit. Contact my people that they do that. Like they'll like you contact them, they'll rectify the situation. I don't have to worry about shit. You feel what I'm saying? Now most people still come to me like when it's a mistake and shit. They're like, yo, this right here happened, blah blah blah. Can you fix it? You feel me? Like, I mean, I really can't fix the shit, bro. Like, sis, like I really can't fix the shit. But as a businessman, I still all I do is the same thing that I know I'm going to tell them to do. I'm gonna reach out to the people. I'm like, yo, what happened with this? Get the, what I mean? Sometimes it'd be little simple shit. Like it'd be simple shit. It'd be big shit as far as addresses got mixed up, you know, that was on our end, you know, on my people's end. They fix it, rectified it. Or it could be something as simple as because I have seen that shit before. Motherfucker is like, yo, I can't, they're telling me my book can't be found because they're using the US Post Office tracking number system and it's a UPS tracking number. And so I was like, okay, they're like, my tracking number don't work. Okay, where are you putting? I'm like, all right, cool. So I would go in, find them like, oh, are you putting it into the post office? Yeah. Well, this is UPS. Oh, my bad. Simple shit. But shit like that, I don't like dealing with. All you keep hearing is get into the markets. But do you trade or do you invest? Should you do stocks, Forex, crypto, or NFTs? My personal answer is not a single one if you don't know how to read a chart. Without knowing how to read a chart, you end up giving all your money to those who do. Do you know what a candle is? Do you know the pocket of activity? Do you know the difference between market direction and market control? If you answer no at least once, you might want to learn how to read a chart first. Learning how to read a chart will let you know if you should trade or invest and if you should do stocks, Forex, crypto, and or NFTs. It will also let you know if this is even for you or not. So visit IamJustSeen.com to learn how to read charts with my Mastering the Market course, ebooks, and webinars today. The world is changing. The question is, will you adapt with it? I don't like dealing with. So I set up the resource that can, it's like, so now this goes to time and money. I can keep 100% of my profits of all my books easily, but that's greedy. You feel me? And that's not utilizing a resource. That takes away my time also. So what I do, I set it up, I get 50, we split 50-50 at the end of the day, but I still come out higher because a part of their 50 is a part of the shipping. You feel me? It's a part of the distribution to the other places. It's a part of handling the customer service. It's the printing, all of the shit. Like they got to do that shit. That's a resource, and I can use that and and leverage that, and I'm cool with it. Because at this point, to be honest with you, and then now this segues into a little bit of the intellectual property. Intellectual property are the resources that I've obtained. I've obtained a lot of resources because I've been able to take my mind to places that a lot of people can't. You feel what I'm saying? But this is due to masculinity. Like, you feel me? All of this is a brand. All of this goes together. You feel what I'm saying? But in utilizing my masculinity, I was able to create the resources that I need to create all the other things that I discuss, talk about, and put to real time. So when I look at how easy it is to distribute that, it's like, okay, that resource is there. Y'all have that. Y'all go print it. Y'all do whatever y'all want to do. And then it's like people like, okay, well, what if I don't want to go through you? Is your book on Amazon? Yep. Whatever bases got to be covered. I covered them shits. Whatever. Do your thing. All I got to do is sell the book. You feel what I'm saying? That's my part. That's my part. But I knew that to sell it, there's other things that I had to do to keep shit moving. You feel what I'm saying? So the fact that I'm able to get 50% per book that I sell, right? Well, 50% per book that I sell directly from myself, right? From my distributors, whatever the case would be. Third party, they give me like 30% or whatever. Because, hey, y'all got to store the shit. You feel me? If I keep the motherfucking traffic coming and everything like that, y'all keep the shit in stock, but y'all got to store it. Y'all got to carry the backlog, all that shit. I don't got to worry about that shit. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'll take that. I take the 30% for the 70% you got to handle. Because when shit get dusty, when the book no longer sells, when motherfuckers just don't want it anymore, when everybody has the book that's going to get it, you got to eat that shit. Not me, but you already paid me. So that's shit that I had to factor in that I don't want. Because I'd rather have it sitting in a warehouse in Amazon or Barnes and Noble or some shit like that. Sitting in my crib like, yo, you feel me? Like, shit, it is what it is. Like, you feel me? Because at the end of the day, at some point, it's going to sell. Then Amazon, they'll do their own marketing things on that point to move the bricks for me. It's not a brick, but you know what I mean. I'm like, all right, the books that will drop the price here, this, that, and the third. We got one left in stock, whatever. It's little certain shit that they do to ensure that they move, because it's a resource for them. Now I have to make it a stronger resource by keeping my shit intact, which means I got to focus on the point of I don't want the time. I want the money. I mean, I don't want the money. I want the time. So how do I best do that? Right. So that was just one aspect, you know what I'm saying? Just the books. You feel me? Next aspect is, another aspect that I do is like my teaching courses. Excuse me. With my teaching courses, like I had to leverage the resources that are those things. So I had to put money in. Yeah, I have to pay a monthly subscription to keep my courses up. Right. I'd rather do that. I'd rather pay that and then keep it going than have to, And it's like they do everything for me. Like they can do my emails when I gotta blast emails out because I uploaded some new content or whatever the case may be. Like they're able to do all of that for me. Like when I gotta make a coupon because I'm like, okay, let me get the discount. Certain shit I don't have to worry about. You feel what I'm saying? Certain shit I don't have to worry about anymore because I'm like, let me utilize this resource. Now, let me weigh the pros and cons against this resource. You feel what I'm saying? Is this money that I'm putting into this resource, is it worth it? Is it going to make me more money? Answer is yes. If you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. You feel me? Because you got to be able to leverage and utilize the extra resources that you have. So tying it all back in to resources being the most important piece, but leveraging and finding the right resource that can simultaneously give you your time back and make you money. You're only going to be able to there's only two forms of currency, and that's the currency itself and attention. You feel me? Think about this. Like if you're not willing to put the money in, how much attention do you have to pay to achieve the same shit that you're not trying to put the money into? You feel me? I'm gonna keep it a whole band with you when I explain this. My Master in the Market course is $2,349. Flat out, all encompassing, everything that's in it, right? I let the course go for $399. Right? I let the course go for $399 on a regular basis. Sometimes I have sales, sometimes I don't. You feel me? But for one, it's all intellectual property for me. So technically it's all profit. With that as the resource, a lot of people tell me, I want to learn what you learn, but I don't want to spend the time nor the money that you did. Okay. So here's what I'm going to give you to save you all of that. Here's the price that I'm going to need from you to save you all of that. People don't look at resources like that because they don't see it as investments. They see it as spending. You feel what I'm saying? I have been in the markets for 6 years now. 6 years. I've learned a lot, a lot. So much so I could pretty much eyeball this shit now at this point. I can tell when the buying start. I can tell when the buying starts. I can tell when it stops. I can tell in the middle where it's going to be. I can tell when a market turn is going to happen. I can correlate and see the greater. I can see so much shit about the shit. And motherfuckers like, yo, I'll just watch this shit on YouTube. I promise you, you can't find my shit on YouTube. Because my shit, I did not put it on YouTube. There's a lot of levels of shit that I teach that you cannot find because a lot of shit is manually done. A lot of shit is experience that I had to show that it's like, okay, this is what I experienced consistently over the last 6 years and seen the same thing happen. So I know that this is what works. You feel what I'm saying? But now there are people who say, I'm not willing to pay that. Okay. Okay. It's like I will learn it on my own for free or whatever the case may be. I can put money on it. Those people will lose in the market. And I know because this is what happens because they always come back. Yo, I lost this amount of money because, you know, I got free webinars out. Motherfuckers be trying to hit the market off my free webinars. That's your fault. I'm not going to give you the shit to actually do it. I'm going to give you the shit to show you that I know what I'm doing. I'm not going to give you all of the deep levels that are in it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like every person who has signed up for my Master in the Market course, when they get to the first week, this is the first week. It was like, I already knew I was going. It was like, I already knew it was going to be dope. I'm going to give you a little glimpse of what's in there. Now, like, I already knew it was going to be dope when you said change your candles to one color. That was like, as soon as you started talking about the psychology of the market, that was it. It was like, damn, yo, it's you're already programmed to lose in the market. Don't even know it. When you first start this shit, you are programmed to lose because of the colors red and green. In the markets, green means stop, red means go. But we've already been programmed societally that green means go, red means stop. So when people see green, that's when they buy, when they should be start selling because the price is already fucked up. When they see red, that's when they should start buying. It's a crazy game. Motherfuckers don't get the shit. They don't be trying to hear it. But you can't tell them that because they're not going to listen. Because they think they're going to find it on YouTube because they're looking at resources from the wrong perspective. They're willing to spend on resource rather than invest with intention to say, I need this resource to achieve this particular thing. It's just like, okay, here's something for me to put my money into. And that's the reality that ultimately fucks a lot of people up because they want it to be they want everything to be free, like I said, while still trying to get the abundance of what that expensive thing really gives them. And so what ends up happening is that they get on that hamster wheel. So much so that they end up moving to different realms of thought and it starts fucking them up. Well, this person don't because this free resource don't teach what this free resource does. These two free resources don't talk the same way. They don't even talk about the same shit. They don't even know what each other is on. So now you bounce around. Okay, I'm gonna go to this free resource. I'm gonna go to this free. I'm gonna go to this free. I'm going. Now you got a whole bunch of free resources that can't produce anything because there's no value in them. There's no substance. This is why social media is so good and so bad at the same motherfucking time. Because literally for free, you are consuming resources on a regular basis. Because we always get free resources and somebody's finding a way like to consume to oh, I can find this on social media. All right, all right. And I be watching people who be like, of course, I'm gonna toot my horn again. There's people who have 3 years ago. Because when did I drop So Forever? I mean, when did I drop Master the Market course? Was it 2018? No, it was 2019 or 2020 beginning. I think it was the beginning of 2020 when I actually finished it and dropped it because I remember doing the Rona shit and dropping the price real low. I like, I better get in this shit. Um, I don't remember how long ago it was, but anywho, there's people who are like, nah, I'm gonna just look at YouTube, get something for free, and then I'll see if I want to do it. I'll watch your free webinars and see if I can. All right, cool, whatever. So it's like 2, 3 years later, it's like, did you get it? Nah, I'm still watching free shit. Okay. While they're now saying, damn, I should have gotten your course. Because now they're seeing testimonies and shit, and they're hearing conversations of my homies and shit. The people that are in the course, they're like, yo, I'm done. Like after this, I'm leaving corporate America. Like it's like shit. Like y'all banged it like that. It's like, yeah, bro, you taught me well. So it is what it is. One of my one of my most recent students, like, um, I try like I don't get me wrong. 90% of the information in Master the Market is everything I do. But then there's that 10% of the freestyle shit, the fun shit that I do that I don't tell people because it's like those are exclusively for one-on-ones. But I package my shit in such a way that homie was like, yo, so after this moment, if this moment happens, can I do this? I said, fuck, he figured it out. But that's what I wanted. I want those are the people that I know are gonna be the successful ones. Those are the people that can walk away from the shit, that can use the critical thought and say, yo, can I use? Yep. And I'll be like, yo, this is precision right here. I got a concept in Mastering the Market called the third time frame. In the actual course itself, I teach on two, but I have a third time frame too. You feel me? If you win it, you probably know where I'm about to go with this. But that third time frame, that's precision. That's when you get the absolute best price. But there's several things you have to see on the second time frame. You're supposed to be using anyway before you can even go to the third time frame. You feel what I'm saying? So when I put that to him, he was like, I said, you know what? I was gonna keep that, but yes, that is, you figured it out. Like that's what it is. Like that's exactly what it is. Like he was like, yo, I'm going to kill the game. He was like, this gives me, I was like, yeah, it gives you the absolute best price because when you're on the final push and you know where your stop loss is supposed to be, now you know how far the final push can go. And then rather than getting it early and setting a crazy stop loss as wide, now you can get in where you would normally set your stop loss, which now gives you a wider stop loss with a higher profit margin. Shit's science, bro. It's fucking dope. But people have to be able to see that. Like everybody think when I say it's five things in the market, like I want the free resource for that. Nah, you're not gonna get the understanding if you just want the free resource. You feel me? Because resources, the quality in which you put into your resources, the quality you're gonna get out of it, how you gonna use it. You feel me? Not everybody can look at some free shit and find the deeper layers that the person was trying to mask in the shit. You feel me? I give out free shit sometimes that motherfuckers be like, yo, I know what that is. Damn it, you caught it. Shit, fuck it. But what can you do? You can't get mad because some people have a mind like that. You feel me? But not everybody who just wants these free resources has the mind for free resources to be able to leverage them and say, I can take out of that what I need. You feel what I'm saying? So when it comes to resources, when there's shit that you don't know, there's shit that you unable to do, go pay somebody to show you how to do the shit. You feel me? Now it's about to be like real talk time because like, yo, y'all got to get out of that shit. Y'all want to go, I want to be the entrepreneur on the next level, but we make justifications because I'm gonna speak for myself personally. We make justifications of wanting to stay at a certain level of money because we know what resources it takes to go there and we don't want to use that. We don't want to leverage that shit. Sometimes it's ego, sometimes it's pride. I have prided myself on the first half of my entrepreneurship journey of being the only motherfucker who did it, like who did it myself. Like, nah, I figured this out on my own. Nah, I figured this out on my own. Yes, I did go and I paid for resources. I paid for help. But ultimately, it was like, I had to figure certain shit out on my own. I was like, nah, I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not going to put that on somebody because I don't want that on my name. I don't want that to be like, okay, they helped me get it or whatever the case may be. But then it's like, I reached the point halfway, the second half and shit where I was like, fuck this free resource shit, bro. Who the fuck already did it? Who the fuck already did it? And like I said, that understanding only came from me at that moment because I was doing a lot of reading and studying. And I was like, damn, bro. When I go to the back of the books and I see the reference pages and shit, and it's like gives me more books to read, and I'm like, damn, in this person's 40 years, 50 years, this is all the information. It's like, this is a book. I paid $39 for this book, and I got this shit forever. But 39, let me explain the power of a resource. All books ain't this expensive or this cheap. $39 gave me game that would have taken me 40 years to accumulate, living the exact same life as the person I just studied from. This shit was a no-brainer for me. I started saying, oh shit, then it tied back into the millionaire fast lane. I was like, fuck that. Let me just cut corners. It's and it's not even cutting corners. It's cutting corners that had already been cut. You see what I'm saying? It's much easier to chop a tree down that's already been cut than it is to start chopping a tree down from scratch. I'm at the stage in my life now where I'm like, you know what? I need to start letting motherfuckers cut trees down for me. I know I'm going this way. I know that I need to be moving that way. So, fuck you think I'm gonna do? Oh, you already went. Oh, so if I take the left here and it's okay, cool. I'm fucking with you. Let me get your resource. Let me get your resource rather than I'm still going to try to cut down a tree. I'm telling you, yo, when you do this shit, you get to a point where you stop giving a fuck about. You stop giving a fuck about the bullshit that you like, and you start getting to a point of I want to execute. I want to execute more. So you start to look at how resources really have to play themselves out, how resources really are going to feel for you. What resources do you accumulate? You feel me? Social media, like I said, has abundance of free resources, and that's what gets us caught up. We don't have the discipline to, you know what I mean? Like, I know for a fact, nobody's teaching master market the way nobody's teaching the markets the way I'm teaching the market. I know that. You feel what I'm saying? However, I also know that the potency of what it takes to see, like, nobody's gonna see. Because one of the reasons that we live in this mentality where resources are so where we want free resources is because so many people have banged us for lackluster resources. You feel me? Lackluster resources that are completely trash that you just figured out on your own through experience. But sometimes we look at it the wrong way. There's been plenty of things, trust me. There's literally been plenty of things that I have put my money into that I already knew how to do. But I didn't know how to do it right. You feel me? A lot of times, see, that's the purpose. That's what our resources are for. A lot of times we know how to do the shit, but we don't know how to do it right. You feel me? We don't know how to do it right. And sometimes that's all you need. And those moments are the things that are where the resources come in that you got to put the money into. You got to be able to say, okay, you know what? I don't know how to do this right. Be comfortable in yourself. It's like, yo, how the fuck can I figure this out? Because you're gonna put in the time to figure it out, or you're gonna put in the money to figure it out. You feel me? I used to be on some time shit, like, all right, let me put in this time, let me go read this. It's like I've learned how much time I wasted. More so when I compare my education, like my degree and shit, to how quick I learned other information, I say, yo, I wasted 4 years of my life. I didn't need 4 years to learn forensic biology. I didn't. I didn't, bro. I'm telling you, 100%. I probably could have learned a full 4 year curriculum in a year's time because of how I studied, because of how I break shit down. I didn't figure that shit out until I quit school, left everything, and then I was like, damn, bro, I did. I think like in 2015, I read like 115 books in a year's time. Since then, that number's been dropping because like at that time, I didn't do shit. I was just in school. I wasn't an entrepreneur yet, and I wasn't a multipreneur like I am now. So I don't read nearly as much of that anymore. I'm getting back into it because I know that I needed that time. That time was something very powerful to me. You feel me? But I've learned that, yo, if I would have just put money into this shit, you feel me? And that's a part of the game. Think about it. And then it's like you got to be intentional with it, otherwise you're just spending. I went to college and shit. I knew I was going to be a forensic biologist or whatever the case may be, but I just I spent money on an education. That wasn't an investment. I mean, yeah, I use it for the science and shit. It helped me write hitting it raw and shit, which solidified a permanent bag for the rest of my life. You feel me? But in the grand scheme of it all, I didn't invest in that degree. So many people go to school without investing in the degree. So they just spend the money on the degree. So it's like, why can't I make this money back? Because you did not have an intentional plan as to what you're going to do with that degree to pay it back. It's a business move. It's a business move. So let's flip it from the other side. Navy and Sally Mae, all those things as a business, they know I'm going to target people who don't know what the fuck they're doing, who really don't know how to use a fucking resource. I'm gonna charge them 6, 7%. They'll never pay this shit back. They're gonna get refund checks. They're gonna up their amount every year. And then what are they gonna do? They're gonna pay me back slowly but surely. I got them forever. Because I know that just off of a job, they don't have any other plan or anything to offset this extra shit. So they're gonna be paying down forever and never actually touch what they owe. They only gonna pay the principal now. Because they spent instead of investing on the education. They spent money to be educated instead of investing on the education. Because if they invested on the education, chances are they wouldn't have known. They would not have gone that way. But that's the power of resources. Who controls the resource? Whoever controls the resource you need controls you temporarily until you learn the resource. Whatever. You feel me? One thing I'm not upset at, I'm never upset at learning from a motherfucker who's ahead of me. I don't give a fuck. Like, if you like 8 laps ahead of me and you can show me how to catch up to your 8 laps without me having to run 8 laps, I'm fucking with you. I will pay to fuck with you. But I gotta see your 8 laps. I gotta see that you actually, oh, you really okay, I'm fucking with you. Give me that. I don't want none of the other shit. Two things that we got to deal with is as black entrepreneurs, you know what I'm saying, is a lot of ego and the lack of collaboration. A lot of us can't get the resources we need because we refuse to collaborate. We only want to compete. Of course you're not going to get the right resource when you compete with a motherfucker. I want to be the only one in my realm. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. Can't nobody fuck with me and none of the shit that I do. But at the same time, I want everybody in here with me who want to fuck with me. You feel me? I don't mind it. Cause I know, like, when it comes to masculinity and soul frail shit, I know that nobody's really touching me in that conversation. You feel me? I know that when it comes to the markets, nobody's able to break down the markets the way that I break them down. You feel me? I know these things. I know these things. I know that when it comes to just utilizing the mind and accessing certain shit, like, I know motherfuckers ain't fucking with me, but I'm not the type of motherfucker who's like, oh, I'm gonna keep it from you. I'm gonna keep it from you. Nah, fuck that. I'm gonna show you where to get it. I'm gonna show you how to go get it. You can do whatever you want to do. That's what this podcast ultimately came about. Like, so for the Justine podcast, the Profane Profanity is not just, it's so for conversations. Yeah, it's random shit, EntrepreNEGUS shit. It's like a whole bunch of other shit, but it's my life experience. Like, you feel me? I'm gonna give you the resource. I'm gonna give you the whole resource because a lot of motherfuckers, especially as far as masculinity goes, a lot of motherfuckers be like, yo, how you get here? You was born like this. You was, nah, I was ratchet. I was fucked up. Wait till episode 200. Episode 200, I got some shit to let you. Is episode 200 will basically be my story as to why I do everything that I do. You feel me? I purposely saved it for 200 because I needed certain shit to be done first, but I purposely saved it for episode 200 because it's like this is the conversation that is going to be like a separating factor. Like I mentioned, Sofrel 3. Sofrel 3 showed that there's separation between me and other men. There's separation between me and other humans. You feel me? And one thing that I pride myself on is modesty. You feel me? And I'm gonna get back to resources. This is gonna tie in a second. But one thing that I pride myself on is modesty. But you still gotta be self-aware. You still gotta understand where you stand. You feel me? So it's like I gave So Frail 1, So Frail 2 is okay, bam. It's like, well, how do you get like with So Frail 3, it shows you like, yo, we're not even in the same place on a spiritual level. I know it because I come down to interact with the humans every now and again. Like, you feel what I'm saying? The level of which I've reached and achieved spirituality, I can show you how to get there. But, you know, there's other shit in between it that that I had to set myself up to be a resource for. You feel me? So I happen to be somebody, and I happen to be somebody who gives out a lot of free resources. You feel me? But if you pay attention to the resources in which they come out, nothing is consistent. It's not, I mean, it's consistent in which I deliver it, but you don't get sequential orders of my shit. You don't get something that's like, okay, bam. Like, if you hear me mention a podcast episode that I reference, it's one way, way back in a whole different, like, you feel me? The EntrepreNEGUS series is like, it bounces around. Like, you get the episodes when you get them. You feel what I'm saying? But it's not a whole, you're going to get this. Like, nah, this is purposeful. Because I know motherfuckers like free resources. They don't necessarily want to go to the next level. You feel me? It sounds good. So I'm gonna give them what sounds good. I'm gonna give them that free resource. If this sparks them, it sparks them. You feel me? But when it does spark them, it's like, are they gonna come to you as the resource for that next part? You feel what I'm saying? When you setting up your resources, when you looking for resources, you got to look at the things that benefit you the most. You feel me? I'm gonna say that like this is gonna be my Jerry Spring final thought. But like when you're looking at resources, and when you're considering how resources play themselves out, how resources are, which resources are benefiting you? You feel me? When people pay, they pay attention. Just from studying my metrics, the people that have actually finished my master in the market course were the ones who paid anywhere between $299 and up, as far as the price drops and all of the other shit. The people who have not touched it since they got into it are the people who paid $199 and under. You feel me? Do I give a fuck? Hell no. Hell no. Because when you pay attention. Should you pay attention? But this is how people approach resources. They don't invest in resources. They spend on resources and they can get back to it later. No, no, no. Why wait for tomorrow what you can do today? You feel me? Why wait for tomorrow what you can do today? What resources are you sitting on right now that you're wasting your time with? You feel me? What are you wasting your time with as a resource? Like, it sounds good to be hyped and motivated, but now what is it doing for you? You feel me? You know why resources don't move the way they're supposed to? Because everybody gets free resources. When you start putting money into your resources, you're like, yo, that's not wise. That's smart. I'm going to like, as an investor, as a day trader and investor, everything that I have to do has to be intentional. I have to use these things as resources. It's like, yo, what can I do to make my money make money? What can I do to turn this money real quick? I have to understand what the market is doing. I can't just put money into the market, bro. Sis, all y'all. I have to actually sit and say, this requires this. This needs this. How can I make this happen the most? I got to go for my resources. Stop denying yourself and making your resources cheap. Stop not going for quality resources. Stop saying, oh, that's too much for me. No, it's not. It's not. You can in one breath. Now, this goes into, I've been skipping this point the whole time, and I've been supposed to talk about this the whole time. Goes into the lack mentality and wanting abundance. You can't. You can't. When you're in a state of survival, resources are hard to come by. Imagine that. When you are in a lack mentality, you don't know what a resource is. Everything is a resource when you lack because it's what you don't have. But when you want abundance, you just start buying shit. You just start accumulating shit. This is how motherfuckers who hit the lottery and shit, they go broke real quick. You feel me? There's no intention. They don't know the value of getting a resource. Like I said, you have liabilities and you have assets. After assets, you have resources. You dig what I'm saying? Many of us stay with liabilities and think because the liability is expensive. We think expensive liabilities have value. They don't. Right? They don't. And this is what's crazy because we rather be expensive with our liabilities, but be cheap with our resources. Ain't that some shit? We're cheap with assets and resources, but we frivolous with fucking liabilities. But then that shows the mindset. This is why people have intentional issues with trying to find the next thing to go to the next level. You feel me? Being the big fish in a small pond. You feel me? I got an episode on that. That is a part of that shit. Big fish, little fish in big oceans, they know I got to get bigger, bro. What are my resources that can make me grow? The krill, the tuna. What is it? What resources can make me grow? The big fish don't want to do that. I want to stay in a small pond and be the resource people keep dwelling on. You're not going to grow. Because when somebody takes your resource, when somebody takes the resource that you are and becomes greater than you than it. No, let me say that wrong. Let me say that differently because I said it wrong. When somebody takes the resource that you are and multiplies it beyond what you could ever fathom, you have failed. And I'm saying you have failed in a sense of, no, I'm not going to say you have failed because that may be where you want to be. That may be where you want to stay. But at the same token, you cannot complain about wanting to do more and that somebody else has done more with what you gave them. That's a problem. That shows not only that you're a resource, but you're a resource that you can't even use. And you don't even know how to use your own resource, which means that it makes sense why we would look into resources that are free. You know what I'm saying? Not me. I've like each level of your entrepreneurship journey is gonna more money, more problems. But I don't want it to seem as if like from the negative perspective. But I'm gonna say it like this: more money, more problems to solve, or more problems you can solve. That's all entrepreneurship is. It's solving problems. You feel me? And getting money to do so. So when you get to that next level, when you get to that level where you capped out, it's like I can only I've reached the levels where I can only do so much with free shit. Okay, let me start putting money into the shit. Wow, I can do this with the money that I'm putting in. Now I got to the point where I can put more money into it to get a different thing. But I became intentional with how I found my resources. I don't just throw my money into shit. It has to make sense. Shit gotta fucking make sense. If it don't as cliche as it is, if it don't make dollars, then it don't make sense. So shit gotta make sense to me. You feel what I'm saying? But now I've gotten to a point where I'm looking at the resources and I learn how to capitalize on opportunities. You feel me? And so for three, I mentioned how to create opportunities. That it's in the tree of life part. It's about a level of tapping into yourself. People be thinking, oh, this just happened. It's divine alignment. No, you create divine alignment. You create divine alignment when you're intentional with what you want to make a resource. And don't forget to check out Cafe Clothing, formerly Just Scenes merch. Get all of your intricate designs crafted specifically for the melanated being to develop a positive imagery within self and to have a little bit of fun in the process. From the peace, love, knowledge, and freedom to the dead horses and water designs, all of the styles are crafted for the imagery to make you feel as you're supposed to feel. Because as I always say, the best way to fit in is to stand out. And what better way to stand out than with your exclusive styles from Cafe Clothing. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and end it there. Yeah, man, that's resources. Resources are real. Like, really, really lock in and get your resources in order. Like, spend time finding things that you want as resources. Wherever you want to be, see who's there already. See who's been there, how long they've been there for. You feel me? And cut that fucking corner. Like, learn from them. Say, yo, bro, what I got to do to learn? Like, there's people, I got homies right now that have said, yo, I want to do a one-on-one session with you as far as not even trading, as far as like spiritual advisement and shit. Like, yo, I want to get to here. I'm like, yo, 30 days. In 30 days, this is what we got to go through. This is what we're going to go over. They're like, all right, bro, I'm ready. I'm like, yo, you really got to do this? I'm like, yeah, you really got it. They're like, wait. Then they're running back. They're like, yo, you really did this? Yeah. And I give you each example in each phase of my life and when it happened, when I was able to notice it, how I ascended to this point, how I went to this point. And you feel me? When I walked them through the shit, they like, damn, bro. I thought you were just born like this. I thought you were just up there. Like, you really. And it was like, yeah, so it's alchemy. I know how to play with the universe. You feel me? I know how to play well with the universe. The universe knows how to play well with me because it's all written there. Like all of the shit is there. You feel what I'm saying? But now I reached the point where it's like my time is now important because the time that it took me to go through all of the shit I can give to you in a shorter amount of time. However, you got to compensate me for it. You feel me? Everything I do now, you got to compensate me for it in some way, shape, or form, even if it's just paying attention. But the people that have, gone through that, they're like, bruh, it was like, yo, I never thought that you was really up there like that. Like, you feel me? It's not like, yo, you're not on no woke shit where you just having conversations with social media. Like, yo, you really up there on some shit. And it was like, that's why you can come back down. And it's like nobody can know. I said, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. The more spiritually sound I become, the less spiritually sound I appear, because that's how it's supposed to be. Right? But when people want to tap into that shit, like, I'm the resource now. They're like, yo, do the work. For masculinity, I got, what I'm saying? They're like, yo, men got to do the work to get better. I wrote the work out. Here it go. I got motherfuckers right now that's like, yo, bro, this shit has taken me to a whole new place in life. I know, because it took me to a whole new place in life. I just don't share it anymore. I just don't like, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like I live it. I don't have to be in a space where I'm talking about, yeah, get your masculine shit. Like, I'm telling y'all, masculine is an essence, bro. And I know how to tap into the shit and use it. When you learn how to use it, you realize, like, by the end of the Soul Trail series, you realize that masculinity is not, you know what I'm saying, a one-dimensional thing. It's an essence and it's an energy you use. And then when you use it, it makes you manly. It makes you all of these other things. But from the beginning, you got to understand the core of it. And I got to show you how to tap into that. Simultaneously showing you how to tap into the feminine essence, because the two can't work without each other. You dig what I mean? When motherfuckers started seeing that, they was like, bro, damn, it's like, yeah, I just lead with masculinity because that's my predisposition, but I actively use my femininity just as much. I'm creative as fuck, bro. Like, how do you think I'm creative with all of the shit that I put down? Because now, bringing it back, the resources that I chose to use. Every resource that I use, I put the right intention into finding, into obtaining that resource to make me a better person. You feel me? When I say I want to do something, what do I have to do to be the best version of myself, to be the better version of myself with it? That's a resource I'm going to invest in. I'm at the point now where I can't invest in any free shit because it's going to make me stagnant. Everything that I put as an investment for a resource, it has to have a monetary value to it. And it has to have a value that I have to work for achieving. This is my own personal thing. I'm not telling everybody to do this. I heard Jay-Z say one time, he said, if you can't buy it twice, you can't afford it. Right. So when he said that, I kind of flipped it in a way of like, and tied that to resources. Like, if I can't buy it twice, I need that as a resource. You feel what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about from a perspective like the cars and shit like that. Like, if there's something that I know can help me go to the next level, but I can't afford it, I need to buy it. This isn't to say I'm going to spend my last on no shit like that, but there's levels to the preparation. There's levels to preparation of resources, right? Because in order to achieve a resource, you have to prepare yourself to have the resource. What better way to prepare yourself to have the resource than working towards getting it? You feel what I'm saying? Let's say a resource that I will need for something. I don't know. I'm just making up numbers at this point, so don't think that I'm talking about this specifically. But let's say a resource that I would need is $1,500, right? And mindset wise, okay, if you can't buy it twice, you can't afford it. So 1,500 twice, 3,000, right? So technically, that resource is valued at $3,000, right? So I'm like, in order to have that resource, I have to pay $1,500 first up front, right? Which means now, whatever it is that I have to do to make this resource enter my life, right? Because I know that this resource is what's going to propel me. It could propel me to the next phase. It could give me a dub, but for the most part, right now, the research that I've done, it can give you that next level, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to invest that 1,500 in a resource, but I'm only going to invest the 1,500 that I earn as I work towards getting that resource. That's an aspect of it too. Every resource that I achieve, I work towards earning first to have that asset, to have that resource. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like when, for example, I'll say this and I'll go ahead and wrap it up. When I dropped my books, so for all of them, right, the resource was my publisher because they're going to distribute it out to wherever. So it was like, how much does it cost for you to do all of these things? So it's like, okay, first you're going to have to get 25 books of your own. You feel me? Then you're going to have to pay, what was it? I think at the time of me dropping my first book, because it was digital. Yeah, because So Frail 1 was actually an ebook first. And I think I paid five something for it. For the ISBN number, all of the other shit that I didn't want to fucking figure out how to do. So I got that and seeing what it was. I went through the resource. I said, yo, what do I need to have y'all distribute my shit? All right, bam, this is your quote for what you're going to do. All right, bet. I'm going to work towards that. I'm going to work towards achieving that resource first because one, it's going to put the value of the resource in my head, right? While simultaneously understanding what that resource means to me and what it's going to mean for my future. You feel what I'm saying? So I work towards that resource to have it. I don't just be out here. This is what I'm talking about. Like your resources, you have to be intentional with them because I'm just buying. I'm just gonna be getting shit. Oh, I can learn. No, I need to see. Will this system take me to that level that I'm looking for? You feel me? I'll know by how I have to work for it to get it. You feel me? So, like I said, when I dropped my first book, I was, valeting. It made it so beautiful because I was valeting. I was like, I think it had to be. I think that first book was like 500 something to publish or whatever. So I was like, bet I need to work paycheck and tips to offset this. Like, I'm like, yo, how hard do I got to work? So this helped with my customer service because I was like, in order to get this amount of money, I need to get these amount of tips a day. So I need to interact with these amount of people today. So it put me in a position to say, to achieve this resource, that it's like a prerequisite in college. There's things you have to do in order to have that. I didn't just throw money into the publishing company and say, nah, it's like the value that you're presenting, it requires this. I need that resource though. But for me, I got to earn that resource. I can't buy it twice. So I'm going to earn the first one and use the second one to buy it twice. You feel what I'm saying? Like that's what I meant by that. So every resource that I put my money into, that's why I use it. I look at it and say, okay, bam, I need to get to that next level. How much is this resource right now? You feel me? All right, cool. Let me put the plan in. This is the resource that I want. I got to get this resource. You feel me? That's when you start to get in your intentional space. That's when you start to see the value of resources and what they can really do for your life. You feel me? You have liabilities, you have assets, then you have your resources. Your resources are the things that are going to give you your time and give you your money. You have to figure out how to use them. You feel me? Like I said, using this with the book, that resource, which was the book publishers, they gave me my time and my money regarding selling my books. You feel me? They distribute it, they package it, print it, ship it, everything. All I got to do is type the bitch up, edit it, get the manuscript, and send it to them. Do the covers and shit too. All of that shit is all shit that I can put from. You feel me? Like it's all resource based. Take some time to be intentional with the things that you put your money into, and from this point forward, start transitioning into only putting yourself in resources. If there's a way in which it can, if you're an entrepreneur, your goal is to serve a need and make money. So if it can't do either one of those, it's not a resource. It's an asset at most, but it's more likely a liability. Stop spending your money on liabilities and start investing in resources. That's how the world is being run right now. Everybody invests in resources. Gold, silver, water, all of this shit. Major motherfuckers have bought those resources and they package them and sell them. Aquafina, Dasani, they all sell the same bullshit as water. Feel me? It's all whack. It's how you gonna monetize it. You feel me? How are you gonna take this resource and make it, take you to that next level? There's a lot of shit that you got to learn. If you know somebody's good at a resource, if you see that somebody, don't be envy, collaborate with them, say, I need that resource. I need that resource. I have so many people say shit like, I need that resource in regards to something I have and don't get it. All right, cool. Time's gonna go on. There's somebody else who's gonna take this resource and do what needs to be done with it. You feel what I'm saying? What resources are you allowing to consume your time and your money? And are they giving you back your time and your money? You feel me? In some way, shape, or form. They have to be giving you something back, or they're just an asset. They're not really you know, a resource. See, the thing about assets appreciate over time. That thing is going to get more money over time. However, the resource is going to make you more money over time. It's going to appreciate you. Resources appreciate you. Assets appreciate themselves, but resources appreciate your ass. Find more resources, tap into more resources, and make sure you are breaking the mentality of trying to be free all the fucking time. Shit get you nowhere. Shit get you nowhere. You feel me? Always using free always using free always utilizing free resources is gonna leave you broke unless it is the free resource that is social media. That is necessarily not a free resource in a sense because you still have to put something into it. You have to pay for something. You got to pay for something, regardless of the fact that you can just log in for free and post whatever the case may be. You got to pay for shit. You got to pay for the attention that you're gonna give people. You feel me? It's little shit like that. But most free resources, a lot of free resources are not going to make you go to that level that you want to go to unless you can figure out how to tweak them the best. You feel me? There's going to be something that you have to put more money into. You feel me? Something that you have to put more money into. But I'm going to go ahead and end it there. Go kiss your babies. Make sure they eat their vegetables. And teach them the value of resources early. You feel me? That will really correct a lot of their frivolous spending habits early. Like teach them that aspect of if you know that this is something that you want to be better, what are you going to do to achieve that? Like start them off early. You know, it could be something as simple as, yo, if you get good grades in school, this right here is what you can get. Like we already do it low key with bribery. It's like, well, what you want for Christmas if you're not good in school, and this what I'm gonna get you, whatever the case may be. If you're good in school, so it's like, yo, some kids have that incentive, and then some have that incentive where I'm gonna get it anyway. The fuck, start to transition your baby's minds into seeing the value of a resource. That will shape their friendships. That will shape their relationships. That will shape so much. And they're just experiences of life when they learn to see things as resources. Too many of our childhood friends' upbringing, they were liabilities. You feel me? Some of my closest friends were liabilities to me. I was an asset to their life, but they were still a liability to mine. But neither one of us were resources to each other. You feel me? I didn't respect the power of being a resource until I got older. You feel me? And I became an entrepreneur. Like I was a fucking resource the whole time, but never acted like one. You feel me? Therefore, because I couldn't see that within myself, I couldn't see what the fuck a resource really was. You feel me? So now, when we teaching our babies, we got to make sure our babies know that resources are key to life, not just entrepreneurship, key to life. Your resources are what you intentionally put your time and attention and value into. You feel me? Is it going to be free? Are you going to put a little bit into it? Like, will the resource tap in and give you something different? Our babies got to learn that early because, like I said, it can affect their friendships. You feel me? We got to stop acting like using people is wrong. Using people for the wrong reasons is wrong. Now, don't get me wrong. I use the fuck out of everybody. Everybody who calls themselves my friend, everybody who calls themselves family, everybody who's in my space, I am using you. But I am only using you for what I can bring out of you. Understand that. If you are in my space, you are being used, but you are only being used for what I can pour into you. I will only drink what I have poured. I will only take and consume what I have given. I'm not going to deplete a motherfucker. But at the same time, when we understand the power of resources, people are willing to, okay, bam. When people pay, they pay attention. If I put money into this shit, I'm going to have a different level of attention to it. You feel me? That's the power of the resource. Teach our babies early to become resources and to find resources a lot faster that have that have a higher quality of life. I can promise you. I can promise you. Based off the fact that I'm an adult and I have a higher quality of life only fucking with resources and treating everything like a resource. If it's not a resource, I might fuck with an asset or two, but liabilities, mm-mm. You feel me? That's why certain people can't be in my space anymore. Certain shit can't operate in my space no more because it's a liability. You have to be differentiated as an asset or resource. Only resources at this point now, from this point going forward, a lot of the shit in my circle is really only going to be resourceful. Anything else, I ain't got nothing to say for you, champ. But anyway, I'm gonna end it there. Make sure, yeah, tighten up with your babies and make sure they are resources and that they're able to be to find the value of a resource and other things. So go kiss your babies. Make sure they eat their vegetables, and I'm gonna see y'all all on the next one. Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom. I'm out.